hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia, and today we're doing another writing update video. So in my last writing update, as you will recall, I'll give you a little recap. I had so much confidence. I completely lost it. I was halfway through draft 2 of my book. I was revising it and stuff, and I was getting ready for beta readers and working on draft 3. I'm sorry, it's been a minute. I thought my last writing update was a while ago, but not this long ago. So this is now like the post-November kind of update for you because I have lots of updates. Let me go through my handy dandy notepad. So I finished draft 2, obviously, and it kind of had this really awesome, like, momentous thing of, I finished draft 2 on, I guess, the day before my 20th birthday, and then on my birthday I just kind of like went over everything and read over some scenes that I was unsure about. Then we printed it out, which is kind of the coolest thing. I don't have it with me because it's at home, but we printed it out, and by we I mean my lovely parents printed it out for me and got like it nice and bound. You know, it looks like legit. So that then went over to my mom and then my father, who read it and gave me kind of notes and feedback and edits and all that. They were my copy editors, they were my normal editors, they were killing it. They read and revised it kind of for me, and I took a break from revising for a little bit. I think I took like a month off, I want to say, and then the third draft process started, and the third draft was kind of like my worst enemy. I thought it was gonna be really easy to do the third draft because I was like, everything's done, it's in there, you know, we just gotta polish it up. But no, it's so weird to me that especially the beginning process of the third draft was so tedious, and I would spend like so long on just like a sentence or like a word. That was just like so crazy to me because I really wanted to be purposeful about what I was doing. So I finished the third draft, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago? I don't know, sometime in November. And I think I posted like it's nearly done. I still need to do another read through of it. In a practical sense, it is done. That's crazy. Like, it's a real book now. It's really cool. That is kind of the most recent thing I was doing on that manuscript. So I put it down and I will need to do another read through. I'm just kind of like giving it time. Really, I had a very fast, very unrealistic timeline for this book, and I had to readjust and understand, like, kind of have this like reality check in a sense of like, this doesn't need to happen really, really fast. It really doesn't, and it's actually more beneficial to me if it doesn't, if I take my time and I'm really thoughtful and purposeful in how I'm writing, in how I'm researching agents and stuff like that, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and if I'm not just rushing through all the steps to just get to an end point. And I kind of had to realize that because I wrote this book in June. I wrote this book in June, and I wanted to have it finished and be querying by this time, I believe, maybe even a month ago. It was unrealistic, and it's not gonna happen. Like, there are so many, I'm sorry, I'm cold. There are so many statistics and authors that will tell you the first book you're querying is most likely not even gonna be your first, like, your debut. Obviously, I wrote this book and I'm gonna go forward querying with it because I'm so confident in it, and it is like, I'm just really proud of it. I know the odds are stacked against me in some ways, so I need to be even more confident in what I'm doing and the product I'm putting out, I guess, in some ways. So I'm taking my time now. My next step, as I kind of already brushed on, is I am going to be querying. Again, I did change the timeline for this because I have learned a lot more about the querying process, and one thing is that a lot of people take the winter holidays off. For me, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time, like, because I have time off and stuff like that, and it's like, no, like, people just don't have open queries. So that is why we are not going to be querying probably until after the new year. But I, however, will be working on my query letter. This is something that is so crazy daunting to me because it is really the make or break of everything. So I really need to have a banging query letter is what my next point is going to be. So I've been researching literary agents. Like I said, I have a good list of like, I don't know if it's like 15 to 18, something like that. Then like once they all reject me, I'll go to find more. And I've been researching like how to write a good query letter and the elements that go into that. Basically, a query letter, if you didn't know, is kind of like your book pitch. Summarize and synopsize, is that a word? Maybe. Your book, and also make the person just want to buy it and represent you or whatever it is, whether you're querying a literary agent or a publisher or whatever. And it's like typically, you know, pretty short. It's not like you have 75,000 words to ask someone to buy your book. It really has to be good. So like I said, I've been doing some research. I've been watching some YouTube videos, taking notes on that, kind of the different elements that I need to be including, things to avoid and stuff like that. I'm in no way an expert on those things, which is why I'm researching. I have also kind of been learning about like thing I need to practice, and something that I'm going to be practicing a lot more in working with this query letter is like distilling my book into short, snappy, like elevator pitches, or like just like a couple paragraphs or something like that is something I need to get a lot of practice with. Went back to like stuff I wrote about this book before I'd written it. I had to write essentially kind of like a query letter almost. I had to just like basically do an outline, basically a query letter. Things are different and I think I have a different perspective of my book now that I've written it. I was just in a weird position where I was like describing a book that I hadn't written, and I think that's really weird, but is also like how people pitch books, so like it's it's a different thing. So some strategies, like I said, I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos about that. Looking at the like inside flaps of books. The acknowledgements is where I found a lot of literary agents, but the inside flaps is where I'm kind of like getting the different parts of writing a good like synopsis, like a good snappy synopsis that gets people excited. And especially with like books that I find that are similar to mine, there is like a part in your query letter that's like comps, so you can compare your book compare, got it, to like two authors or two other books. And so that's like kind of where I'm trying to like look at their synopses. I'm gonna do a writing vlog sometime this month where I'm like gonna take you through the process, but it's just like me planning and updating you. It's an update. Right now I have like 3 books that I've kind of combined in my head that I guess my book is kind of like, and I need it to be 2. And I can't decide because I feel like they all have different really important elements to my book, but I also know I have to choose 2. But I feel like it would be easier for me to do like authors, because I would say for my book, should I say that? Okay, now I'm like nervous. Fuck. I would say Katie Henry and Emma Lord. Is that bad? Should I not tell you that? They're like 2 of my favorite authors. Would say books. Emma Lord and Katie Henry are probably the 2 authors I would comp most likely if we're writing my query letter right now. I don't fucking know. Is that all on my query letter updates? These are my notes. Let's move forward with plans. So like I said, I want to start querying in around mid to late January. So that means I need to start working my query letter. I have started. It's just not like anywhere close to be anything, but I'm gonna wait until I'm done with my kind of semester at school, which is the middle of December. So once I'm home and can like dedicate some real serious time to working on it, I'm going to be doing that, and I'll have all my family to like just be my sounding board to read it, critique it, as I'm sure they will. I don't think I'm gonna do any more kind of like beta readers at the present, just because I want the next revisions I do to be with people that know more than I do. That's my query letter plans, which is kind of like the main thing. Unrelated to this book project, I have outlined 3 other books. This is so bad. Okay, so like when I get bored in class sometimes, which is not to say that I do this often, I just have one class that's so aggressively bad. Like thankfully, you know, the semester's over. I kind of like exhausted all the things I could do in that class, and so I started planning books. I do have a companion idea to this book that I do really like, and I have thought a lot about. I mean, it really does need some like serious tinkering, and I am a huge like planner, which is what I've realized in my first book is that I love planning every single little thing about my book. So it's not like anywhere near like that like meticulous level of planning. So the first one, like I said, is a companion to this first book that I wrote. That one I really love, and I think understandably I should be writing that one next. I think because I first planned it and now I've planned 2 other things since then, I'm like not as excited. Then I have 2 other books that I have since planned out. One is a dual POV, and is set at the summertime. I'm like, what can I tell you about it? It's a summer dual POV. I'm calling it BWL at the moment. Okay, the book that I wrote is called, I'm not giving you the title, I will call it by its initials, which are, so far, I mean, anything can change, which are STM. So STM, written, done, draft 3, querying. STM, book 2, I have an outline. It's a companion, kind of. BWL, set at the summer, dual POV, and I'm really excited about it. Again, I like can't apparently write anything that's seasonally appropriate. What are the initials for this one? Because it's a longer title. And then CTTA is the third one, and the most recent one that I've outlined, which has a much looser outline because of the subject matter. And this one is probably the most different. Other than like BWL being like dual POV, which is like that's main difference, the subject matter of CTTA is a lot heavier. And one thing I really like in writing, and also that I find that I like in my reading, is like weaving in like lighter elements and heavier elements, which I definitely have in STM, and I still have an STM book 2, and I definitely have in BWL. Like there's always going to be like these like this balance of like humor and lighthearted and like romance and love with like grief and other things that I find interesting and that are just a part of life. I don't know, I think it's a balance. CTTA has a lot more of those like heavier things, and especially just like the way I've kind of thought about how this is written, I've decided it might actually be like 2 timelines, which is daunting but also so exciting. And there are like just so many elements I'm like so excited to play with. I love writing and I can't wait to draft again because that process is just like so much fun. It's not to say that I don't love STM. I love her. She's the best. She's my baby. I'm so excited to like just try out new things. I don't know like what time, like what month I can dedicate to like fast drafting my next thing, which I didn't do last year, which you know, because I'm gonna be in school all year. But maybe you'll vote. So I'll put a poll whether you want me to fast draft next or draft next. STM2, BWL, CTTA. Oh, I didn't tell you what the second book is about. It's also set around Christmas. It's following a side character of the first book and it's in a new environment. BWL, it's summer. It's dual POV. CTTA, 2 timelines, much heavier. You can vote on those 3 for me of my next draft because that actually sounds really fun. Because I'm horrible at making decisions. That sounds fun. So those are my plans and my updates for you all. Like I said, I will be doing a writing vlog where you can actually like, where I'm actually gonna take you through me doing some of these things and what that looks like. I really like doing these videos because they're a really good check-in for me to see where I'm at. I've got miles to go. Whether you are watching these to just keep up with my writing journey or you are also on your own writing journey and are at your own stage in that process, I really do appreciate you watching this video and sticking with me while I go through the crazy world that is writing, revising, querying, and hopefully publishing soon. So that is my update for now. I wish you all the best with your writing, whatever it is that you are doing. If you want to let me know what that is, I would love to chat with you about writing and all things books in the comments below. And with that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to all the things, and I'll see you in my next video.